Yo, what is going on, everyone? It's me, Mr. Premps, and wow, is it really him? Now, quick spoiler alert for anyone who is anime only or hasn't read One Piece manga chapter 1007, as this video will be looking at the most recent plot points in the story. Now, for those of you who are up to date, you'll know that at the end of chapter 1007, we had something that nobody saw coming, and that's the reveal of Kozuki Oden. Now, before you all go slaughtering me in the comments, I want to tell you all to hold on, because that's not what this video is about. There are many theories on YouTube, Reddit, Twitter, and so on at the moment as to whether it's Oden or not, with most suggesting that this is Kanjuro, Onimaru, and potentially even Katarina Devon. However, for the purposes of this video, I am going to imagine that this is indeed Oden, and if it is, well, what happens next? Now, in addition to this, I want to have a good stab at guessing where Oda is going to go next in the chapter, because we all know that once we get so immersed in a particular plot point, Oda likes to switch things up, and that's something I can see coming right now. But before I get started, if you are visiting for the first time, or are indeed a returning watcher, make sure you leave a like on the video as it helps so much with that YouTube algorithm, and make sure that you subscribe to the channel so you never miss out when I drop more content just like this. But about Oden and Enma, this is really something I thought of because a friend of mine, Walkins, sent me some panels at the end of Oden's flashback way back in chapter 972, and it got me thinking. Now, these panels were of Oden's conversation with Toki, and I kind of want to look at it in two separate parts. The first part of the conversation is where Oden asks Toki why she isn't sad as he had just been handed a death sentence, in which Toki responded with, "Who said you are going to die?" And the second part of this is where Oden asks Toki to give his swords to Momo and Hiyori. And that's what brings me to this very moment right now, in regards to whether Oden is alive. The Oden we saw in chapter 1007 certainly looks like Oden, appears to sound like Oden, and to be honest, everything about him seems spot on except for two things, and these are his swords. However, is this really going to be an issue for long? Currently, Ame no Habikiri is meant to be with Momo, and Enma is with Zoro, which leads me with what happens next in chapter 1008, because are we going back to the rooftop? Luffy is down for the count, and we have Law, Kid, Killer, and Zoro taking on Big Mom and Kaido in his hybrid form. And I mean, hopefully we get to see Kaido's hybrid form, because knowing Oda, we've missed all the action. And when I say missed it all, I mean the battle. Oda is the king of off-screen battles, leaving so much to be desired that if we return to the rooftop this chapter, we could quite possibly see Zoro, Kid, Killer, and Law all down for the count, just like Luffy. And this is where Oden and the Scabbards enter, because they've acknowledged that their battle's not over. And being rejuvenated by seeing who they believe to be Oden would certainly set things up for round 2. Not only for the Scabbards, but round 2 for Oden vs Kaido. How cool would that be? If this is Oden and he makes it back to the rooftop, seeing everyone beat up, he then walks over to Zoro and borrows back Enma in order to challenge Kaido. And I know, it's a bit of a reach, but just what if? Could a one-sworded Oden keep Kaido at bay until the supernova recover? Or maybe until he can be reunited with his second sword, Ame no Habikiri? That would truly be amazing. And I know there's a lot of questions such as, how would Oda do this? How could he write it? Isn't Jack meant to be heading that way? And so on. But that isn't for me to worry about right now, because it's Oda's story. I'm just here thinking out loud. I mean, was it a total coincidence that Oden had both his swords sent 20 years into the future? The time fruit has a lot of unanswered questions around it, and quite frankly, that makes so many things possible. I really hope that Oda is careful with the writing, but in One Piece, I don't tend to think that many things are just a coincidence. And talking of coincidence, was it a coincidence that Zoro was so interested in the sword that Luffy took from Tengu? If I'm not mistaken, this was actually Nidai Kitetsu, which is an Owaza monograde sword, meaning the second best grade of the sword, and the second of the Kitetsu blades, one of which Zoro already possesses in the Sandai Kitetsu. Is it possible that Zoro actually ends up with these two alongside Wado Ichimonji and returning Enma to its original owner? That definitely seems like a possibility to me. Alternatively, there's a lot of other things going on in Wano right now, and I think we need to see some more from Jinbei and Who's Who. Because something I've said constantly, it feels like there's more than what meets the eye with these two, and that there's some sort of untold history between the two, and that Jinbei doesn't quite realise this yet. I also think we could see Sanji meet up with Yamato, Momonosuke and Shinobu, because I think this is the most likely place that he would go. Momo definitely has a huge part to play in the story, particularly with the likelihood that he ends up being the one to save Wano. But I won't go into that theory too much right now, because the main thing that will probably be highlighted is Momo's Devil Fruit, which was revealed to Yamato and Shinobu. That actually caught them by surprise, I must say. The fact that Momonosuke looks like the very thing that has held their country to ransom for all of these years is definitely going to be difficult to process by the people of Wano, and only Momo can bring that comfort to them with the whole saving of Wano theory, which earlier I said I wouldn't go into. Apart from that, I don't want to delve into too much here. The last two plot points I would like to see from is 1, the whole Orochi and Fukurokojo plot point, because we saw Hyoguro take out some of the key members of the Oniwa Banshu, like Daikuku and Kazekage, but Fukurokojo is nowhere to be seen. So could he potentially be with Orochi, plotting? Watch this space. And the second thing, which I haven't heard many people talk about, is where the heck is Hawkins? And what is he doing? Is he an ally or is he an op? Because really, he goes wherever his tarot cards tell him to go. So what is he doing now? In addition to everything I've just discussed, there's a lot happening right now. Chopper is done with the antidote, Perospero is heading to the live floor. Does Perospero end up joining Marco, or does he join up with King and Queen to incapacitate Marco? And who do King and Queen eventually have their one-on-one fights with? Will King head towards Momonosuke, and does that set up Sanji vs King round 2? There's a lot to cover, but I do trust Oda to deliver as normal. But I guess that just about does it for this video. What do you guys and girls think is going to happen in chapter 1008? Is this really Oden? And if so, does Zoro return Enma to him so we get Oden vs Kaido round 2? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. But as always, if you've liked anything I've had to say, please make sure you leave a like on the video and make sure you subscribe so you never miss out when I drop more content just like this. Say